Hello and welcome back to the Strong Collector Podcast. My name is Dakota.
And my name is Jordan. And this week we have some exciting, I guess we would say, peering into the future, as we did a little bit of last episode. But this one might be a little more, I guess I would say, substantiated, because it's not just coming from our crazy brains. So we will get into that a little bit, talking about some leaks and potential releases coming up. But before that, as always, in our opening segment, we will be covering the What You Got, where we talk about our recent acquisitions since we last spoke here. So Dakota, since we talked last, what you got?
So last time, you might remember, I alluded to my background. We still haven't posted yet to the YouTubes. Maybe we'll do that shortly. Go back and binge watch all of these that you've loved hearing. My background, I have the new retro Spider-Man collection. So I got my Ben Reilly. I got the armored Spider-Man. I've got the Hobgoblin behind me. And I've got the symbiote Spider-Man also behind me. I decided to pass on the Hammerhead because I'm not a huge fan of the character. And I didn't really need another flat-headed gangster in my collection. I do think it looks cool that he comes with the brass knuckles. That's a fun touch. Maybe if I ever find him on clearance, I'll be talked into getting him, but not one that I'm going to actively go out try to find at full retail. Maybe if I get a good trade. But along with that, Jordan, last time you talked about getting your Swamp Thing. I was lucky enough to later on in that week find my own Swamp Thing. So he's down on my shelf with the big boys next to Galactus and Surtur. And just for size comparison, he's almost as tall as Surtur. If Surtur didn't have his crown/eyebrows, they'd be right about the same height. So super excited about him. He was one of the McFarlanes that I was definitely wanting to get. He was on my Christmas list, but he sold out from GameStop before Christmas, and then I was able to pick him up at Target. And then my last, what you got? So I'm a personal trainer and a coach. One of my clients is a big comic book fan and subscribed to the Marvel Unlimited. He's not a big action figure collector, so he was gracious enough to give me his Kitty Pryde from the Marvel Unlimited. So that's like probably the most exclusive character I have in my collection now. I don't really have any SDCCs or anything like that, I don't think. So she's pretty cool. She comes with a little Lockheed and kind of a cool sword. It looks similar to maybe what Pirate Pool came with. I haven't compared the two yet. I just got her today. So I'm going to compare that, see if it's similar to the sword that came with Pirate Pool, or maybe also looks like it could be a Nightcrawler sword, but I'll compare the two and maybe let you know, post some pictures of her on our Strong Collectors Instagram page. But yeah, super excited. I've got my Spider-Man figures. You'll know from the last episode where we talked about what we were excited for. That was, the whole wave was on my list of what I was excited to get, and I've got them. So far I haven't opened up any except for the Shocker. Did crack him open finally a couple nights ago. I think the next one that's going to get opened is going to be Hobgoblin. So excited to get those slowly opened. And I still have more on pre-order coming, so those ones will probably end up staying in the box. So Jordan, what did you get?
Very nice. Well, like you, Dakota, I've been on the hunt for the retro figures. I have not been super successful. I did manage to find a Shocker. A lot of Shockers and Hammerheads in my area, so if you're listening in Des Moines and Hammerhead happens to be your childhood favorite, you're in luck. Unfortunately, there have not been a ton of those around, though, so I've still been working on trying to find those, waiting on my pre-orders, so I'll probably end up getting those before I actually find them. However, I did manage to make a recent acquisition, and I did find the entire Multiverse of Madness wave. Well, no. All of them except for America Chavez, I believe. And the only one that I really felt super compelled to pick up was one I had on pre-order, and that is the Astral Doctor Strange. Holding him up right now. He has that translucent quality that I think they managed to kind of nail as far as the color goes, like doing a translucent figure that also has color on it, because his original astral form, I think you remember this one, it's like totally whited out, so it doesn't really capture the astral qualities from the movie. So this one's pretty cool. He comes with this kind of like magic lamp, which I don't know if that's going to factor into the movie or if I'm supposed to know. I heard some people theorize the lamp actually...
Marvel is owned by Disney, so we're going to get Will Smith is going to pop in.
Oh.
Sorry, what was your you heard somebody theorizing? I interrupted.
I heard someone theorize the lamp goes with the Rintrah Build-A-Figure. Which I don't know. Doesn't really say, but it also, I don't remember Doctor Strange prominently using a lamp in any of the movies. So, we'll see. That one's pretty cool, though. He's fun. I also got the 2-pack of the Old Man Logan and Old Man Hawkeye. So these are pretty cool. I really like this storyline. The Old Man Logan storyline, the kind of spin-off Old Man Hawkeye comics. They've also recently started doing podcasts that are readapting these stories. So it's kind of fun. They both come with alternate heads. They've got a pretty good amount of accessories. Like Hawkeye's got a couple bows. And this reminds me of the Toy Biz one, where he's got a bow that you can actually pull the string on, which I think is kind of fun because he can like be posed. Like you can pose him to where it looks like he's pulling the string back, which I think is... It just feels a little less cheap than some of the other Hawkeye bows we've gotten from Hasbro.
Yeah, for sure. And now you're going to have to go pick up the deluxe Thanos so you can put the Old Man Thanos head on that and just have a whole geriatric display.
Yes, I'll have to track down the old Professor X from Logan as well.
Yes.
So I can just have like a senior citizen Marvel display. I also got the Morbius from... Is this Absorbing Man?
I believe so.
I want to say Absorbing Man. He's cool because he's got multiple capes, but I've got the like gliding cape on where I think you can pose him. And this is the classic Morbius. You know, it's almost like a disco suit going on.
Yep.
I think Sam said he looked like Michael Jackson, which kind of has like the Thriller vibe to it. So I think he's fun. From my Dreamwave, I love the monsters. So
True.
Those have been kind of my more exciting. I did get the new Robert Pattinson Batman as well, which I got one that was clean, no weird hood or upside down torsos, which apparently some people have been having problems with. So if Todd McFarlane's listening to this one...
Unfortunately, these What You Got segments are also turning into what did Todd McFarlane do wrong on his toys segment.
Right.
But
so
yeah, and you're slowly becoming more and more a collector of the McFarlanes.
I am.
You're on the hunt for that Bat Cycle now, right?
Yes, I'm looking for the Bat Cycle, which I saw, but I passed on foolishly, so now I'm trying to track it down. And I've got another Batman McFarlane coming in the mail. So you've set me down a new path, but it's fun. It's fun looking for, gives you some variety for what to look for. It's not just you're looking for one sold out retro card that's never there.
Right. I agree. That does make it a little bit more fun.
Nice.
All right, so now with our What You Got segment complete, we'll move into some of the leaks and rumors. Now remember, these are just leaks and rumors. We don't have any official word from Hasbro. Hasbro, if you want to give us an official word to announce figures, we'll gladly do that for you. But if one of these is something that you're really wanting and it doesn't end up being made, don't go hunting Jordan down in Des Moines now that you know what city he lives in. So we'll go through a few leaks. Some of them may have some extra details. Not 100% sure where all of the leaks came from. Just see them posted in the groups. And we're going to report that here to you, maybe chat about some of them, and keep our fingers crossed that we get those soon and they're spread out so we don't go broke all at once. So the first group that we'll get into is a re-release. So word on the street through the grapevine, we've heard that some Black Panther figures are going to be reissued. So these are figures that have already come out. And I guess maybe with the Black Panther movie coming out, they're not going to make new figures, or maybe not a whole wave. So they're going to, I guess, expect that there's going to be some hype for this and reissue Killmonger, Black Panther, Shuri, and Jordan, what is her name?
Nakia.
There you go.
Nakia. That's his girlfriend, sort of. Well, she's not in the Dora Milaje, but she kicks some booty herself, so.
That figure's released?
Yeah. What?
That figure's already out?
No.
Oh, okay.
I said she kicks some booty herself.
No, I mean, if this is a reissue. No. If this was reissued, I don't know this character at all. I thought this was the Dora Milaje chick.
Nakia? No, they put out a figure of her before.
What does she look like? I can't picture her at all.
She's got like a red uniform, like these like circular blade things.
Oh.
You may have thought she was one of the Dora Milaje figures.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's what I thought at first, but yeah.
Oh. All right. Well, there you go. That's your
there you have it.
Reissues. Jordan, you want to take the newer Black Panther figures?
Yeah. So we're supposed to be getting a comic wave, or a comic version of Black Panther, and then a comic version of the Hattusilize, which I had to do a Google search on. Dakota's laughing at me trying to pronounce that.
That's why I gave
from
you
what
this
I gathered, I know you're tricky. From what I gathered, that group, I think it's like the Wakandan secret police or something. So maybe, I mean, we didn't really see the existence of that. I guess the question is that going to be obviously the comic version? Does that mean it's going to be in the movie? Not always. We get sometimes comic versions of things that don't actually show up in the movie. So that invites speculation as to whether they'll be in the movie. But the comic Black Panther, I think, is interesting because I have the retro Black Panther right now, which kind of has that like silvery blue to it. So you have to wonder, yes, is this going to be like a comic classic version, or is it more of the Walmart exclusive where he has the cape and the spear, or kind of like the old school Toy Biz, Dakota, that you love so much, where he's got more of the gold accents. He's kind of got like the claws and all that. Something tells me he'll have a cape, though. I have a feeling he's going to have a cape, like the retro look. What I think would be cool, though, is multiple heads, because in the old comics, he had like kind of the Batman like half mask thing in some comics. So maybe you could give him the full mask. Maybe he's got the half mask. Obviously, I'd love a removable cape. That would be cool. And then, yeah, I don't know. Maybe gets a spear or something like that. I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
But depends on how comic booky, or is it even a more modern comic book version? I don't know. I guess what do you think, Dakota? Will it be more retro classic or more modern comic?
I imagine it's either going to go, I mean, I guess my hope is that it's going to turn out to be the remake of the Toy Biz Black Panther, where he's got the cape and, like you said, the gold claws. I think that's cool, and that's a pretty like iconic Black Panther comic cover. is that look.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I could see going like way back, old school Black Panther, where he kind of has more of the like blue gloves, something like that, where I don't know, that one would be passable for me because I would probably take the retro Black Panther over that one. But if it was the one, like you said, with the cape and the gold accents, then that's definitely one I would pick up. So yeah, I guess time will tell, and we'll see what Hasbro comes up with for the new Black Panther. I'd imagine we're going to be seeing that around the time the Black Panther movie comes out. So, should be.
Well, I don't know, Dakota, because that movie got delayed.
Oh, did it?
It was originally supposed to come out in, I want to say July, and now it's coming out in November. So we might have a Shang-Chi situation where we have a bunch of figures coming out early. Don't know.
Do you think they would do that again? I mean, I guess since they've already had a Black Panther movie, maybe it's not as big of a gamble for them to do. Where with Shang-Chi, they were putting out the figures before anyone knew the characters. And with Black Panther, people know and love the character already, so maybe they don't have to take as big of a risk in not putting that figure out. But true. I guess maybe we'll get the figure before we get the movie. And you can take your figure with you to watch the movie. So then we'll move into some leaks and rumors that really have Jordan excited. And that's going to be our Spider-Man leaks and rumors. So we've got quite a bit on this one, so buckle up. The first one we have as a leak is a Knoll and Venom 2-pack. So we know what Knoll looks like. There's been speculation that he was going to be either in a 2-pack or a deluxe. And according to this rumor, Knoll is going to come with Venom. We don't know what style of Venom, if it's going to be... I mean, I would assume they would take like the Venom from that storyline and use him. But then I know a lot of people are hoping that he comes with the giant axe, or... I know people were hoping that Knoll came with wings, but then I think Venom also has wings in that story. So maybe if they just came with...
You could give them interchangeable, yeah.
Right. I was
one
say,
set of wings.
One set of wings, put it on both your characters. There you go. You just have to buy 2-packs if you want 2 sets of wings. Just trying to think economically for myself. If they put 2 pairs of wings in there, we're screwed in the wallet. So, I don't know. Any speculation you have on that one, Jordan?
Yeah, I definitely have to think it's going to be the Venom from that storyline. I know you were reading those comics, but he does have a bit of a more stylized look in those comics. Just, you've seen the art style. I believe it's Ryan Stegman is the artist. But yeah, he has, in that comic, he gets kind of a cool weapon. So I could see them putting in the weapon. I could see them putting in an alternate head. And then, like you said, the wings. So I think they would definitely be trying to capitalize on those Donny Cates storylines and give you that version of Venom, because I think that's been pretty iconic as far as revitalizing the character. So I'd be excited for that. You know, that was on my list of kind of what I was stoked for about this year's Knoll figure. So I'm excited for that. And then I guess we've got several 2-packs to discuss as well, though. Is there any other thoughts you had on Venom and Knoll?
I guess just last question for you. Are you more excited or less excited that it's going to be a 2-pack with a Venom? Because now you're going to have to pay more for your Knoll than if he was a single figure.
That's true, but I mean, I think it makes sense just because obviously we have the retro Venom, which is, you know, that 90s style, which I think is cool. You can see him in my background if we put up video. I think he's cool, but it would be fun to have like a just more traditional comic Venom. And the best options for those can be kind of pricey as it is. I know there's the Absorbing Man wave. I want to say there's another one that's floating around out there, but that's the one I see the most. And I've been tempted to get it several times. But at this point, you know, I would rather just get a newer Venom figure.
True.
So I don't mind. I mean, I think most people snatch that figure up when they can, and a lot of people were upset about the cell shading. So I think it's smart for Hasbro to reissue a new Venom with Null, and I hope it's a cool figure. I hope it's not just kind of a lazy reproduction of an older. But I don't know. Maybe they'll reuse, at least make use of the retro buck and kind of give that a cool design. So, yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I will definitely be pre-ordering that one.
Very cool.
And hunting for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then next we have the Spider-Verse Penny Parker and the SPDR 2-pack. So, assuming that one's going to be based on the cartoon movie, right? I don't know. I personally, for me, this is not really one that I would snatch up. You know that I didn't really love the first wave of Spider-Verse figures, so unless they improve on them dramatically, that'd be an easy no for me. The other aspect is, I think the design of the comic Spider Robot, like the Build-A-Figure, is cooler than the movie version.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, and I think another leak getting down the road, we'll get more into those with the prices, but I saw that this was going to be priced more along the lines of kind of the oversized Marvel Legends, so probably going to be in that ballpark of $50+, kind of like the Hydra Stomper. So I think that'll be kind of where this is released in that wave. And yeah, I agree. I don't have any of those other Spider-Verse figures, and I don't think this one's going to be my first. I would love to be happily surprised, but even the other groups that have put out this similar duo, I can't remember if it's Mayfax or Sentinel or whoever it was that has the Penny Parker and Spider. Not really ones that are going to fit in my collection, but I would imagine if you're a younger collector or, you know, actual kid playing with toys, this would be pretty fun to have. So I definitely think it's a good idea. I'm excited to see it, but not one that I want to own. I'm too.
You're one of those kids that Dakota shoves aside in Target to get to the shelf. You're in luck.
Exactly.
Because you can order this one online.
Very true. You got to have something for everybody.
There was a kid today. I was at I think I mentioned this to you. The QuadCon was in town today. The thing that Dakota and I went to a QuadCon, which is kind of like a toy show, comic book combo, the other week in Cedar Rapids, but they had one here in Des Moines. And I was next to this guy going through Marvel Legends, and he had this little kid, and he just goes, "Why do you collect Marvel Legends, Dad?" I was like, wow, this is kind of a existential moment. He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Why do you collect them?" "Because I like them." And then he goes, "Well, it says on here it's for 4+. He goes, "Yeah, I'm over 4. And I think the kid was like, "I think you're supposed to be around the age of 4 to be playing with," you know, and the dad's just kind of like, they walk away. But
beat it, kid.
I think, yeah, I know. He's kind of like, you know what? Go play with your friends.
Yeah.
Get out of here. So, I guess all that to say is, I do wonder how many kids are snagging Marvel Legends nowadays, though. You know, I mean, just because, I don't know. I mean, what are the rates? I remember when we were kids, they were like $7.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're like, what, about to be 25? So, yeah. I don't know.
Hope you got an allowance increase.
I was going to say, I think my toy collection as a kid would have been much smaller today, but we'd have to run the numbers on that.
They're definitely going to be stuck collecting only Eternals. Poor kids.
every kid this year is just growing up with a box full of Eternal figures. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, boy.
Eternals bashing aside, the next 2-pack that we've got rumored to be coming is Homecoming Peter Parker and Ned. So this, I think, is what a lot of people are speculating, that the backpack tease that I think it was Dan or Ryan gave in one of their past, whatever the Fan First Friday or Thursday or whatever day of the week it ended up being. So I think they're expecting that to go with Ned. Since I don't collect a lot of MCU figures, this is probably one that I'll pass on, but I do think that having a full civilian MCU Peter Parker would be pretty cool. We've got the retro Peter Parker, but if you want an MCU Peter Parker, I mean, I imagine they're going to do a pretty good job with this. We've got a few head sculpts for him, so I guess you could reuse some body, but usually all of the like civilian bodies are suited or Red Hood. So, and then having a Ned figure, it's cool if you're an MCU collector, I guess maybe, but for me, being mostly comic or cartoon based, not one that I'll be pre-ordering, I don't think. How about you, Jordan?
Yeah, even me being a MCU collector, I don't know. I don't really have many of the civilian characters. I kind of passed on the J. Jonah from the newest Spider-Man wave, so I don't see myself grabbing it. I'm trying to think of what they could do, though, to put it in there to kind of incentivize people who maybe, I don't know, just because I feel like those, it's like not very exciting to just get a regular clothed person. I don't know what they could, I'm trying to think of what they could add to make it a little more enticing. I guess maybe the backpack accessory, that would be cool. People probably would want to take that and put it on their regular Spideys, because that's kind of a thing in the comics. You know, you see him web slinging with his backpack. So maybe some web effects. I don't know. Or maybe like an alternate Spidey head, so you can do that. Like he's got his mask on, but he's also got his street clothes. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, for me, I think I'll be okay on this one, which is probably good because there are some more on the list that I will definitely be getting. So I guess that brings us next to the 2-pack of Spinneret and Spider-Man. I believe the Spinneret character is from, it was at first a limited series, then became an ongoing series called Spider-Man Renew Your Vows, where it is essentially an alternate world where he is married to Mary Jane and they have like a 12-year-old daughter, I think, who naturally has spider powers. And I think somehow MJ gets spider powers and becomes her own hero. So I haven't been keeping up with that series. So I don't know if the MJ Spinneret Spidey type hero version would appeal to me, but I do think it depends on what they do with the Spider-Man, like what kind of buck that is going to have, because I think he looks in those comics pretty standard Peter Parker. So are they going to reissue? Is it going to be on a newer body? I don't know. But I could see a lot of people getting it maybe just for the Spider-Man. Part of that is dependent on some of the other things in our list that we're going through. But I don't know. This one I would be more likely to get than the previous two. Again, depending on what they probably may or may not do with the Spider-Man figure.
Yeah,
What do you think of that one?
Similar. I mean, I guess I'll have to see it. I don't know the Spinneret character super well, so it's not one that is really on my radar of figures I was hoping for. Spider-Man, I always love a good Spider-Man, but like you said, is it going to be better than what we already have and worth the price of getting the 2-pack? My guess is that's probably going to be one that I'm going to pass on, but it is one of those ones that I don't necessarily have to know a figure. If it looks cool, if the Spinneret figure looks awesome, then I'll get it. But right now I'm going to say that it's probably going to be a pass for me. But one that is not going to be a pass for me, this is one that I guess this isn't even really a leak. This has been announced at the, not really like the PulseCon, but it was like the post-PulseCon. If you're a member of the Hasbro Pulse, you got this release. So it's going to be the Iron Spider. And that's one that I'm definitely going to pre-order. I had the old Toy Biz Spider-Man's Classics.
And this
Iron
is
Spider.
the comic
Right.
Iron Spider.
Correct, yes. So this is like...
with the yellow and gold when he's... I think it was a Civil War where Tony Stark made him a kind of a Iron Man-esque enhancements to his armor.
With the yellow, kind of like Dr. Octopus arms, but not quite the same, but still have those attachments. So yeah, this is one that I'll definitely be pre-ordering. I liked the old Spider-Man Classics one, but it was kind of had those ball joint hips and a little bit too skinny and hard to stand up. So I am excited to see how this one is improved, and being on the like updated bodies, it's probably going to be pretty awesome. At least that's my hope. Jordan, you going to be pre-ordering this one?
I don't know. The Iron Spider costume has never really grabbed me. So, I mean, I'm tempted by the arms to like see if I could retrofit him to go on a superior Spider-Man figure, because he has those kind of arms that they've never released him with. I don't know. Might leave this one to you, Dakota, and I will just play with that one. And maybe we can start our old system. Dakota and I, when we were kids, we would trade. It was kind of like a library of toys. So I remember I would have to think of the storylines I wanted to do and then ask you for certain figures, and then you would take some of mine. So maybe we can do that with the Iron Spider. And then
True.
If you pass on Null, which might be foolish, but you can borrow mine.
I do have a lot of other symbiotes. So
it's true.
I will say, though, that if that Spider-Man, the Iron Spider, came out with the same type of tendrils as the Superior Venom and Lasher, it'd be a hard pass for me. I hate those tendrils so much. But luckily, it looks like...
It's worse than Armadillo's foot.
Yes, it is worse than Armadillo's foot. But yeah, it looks like they're going to be articulated. I don't know what you'd even call those extended arms, tendrils. Not really tendrils because it's not a symbiote, but yeah, looks like those are going to be articulated.
Tentacles? Legs? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe legs. If you know the Iron Spider, you know, and if you don't, just look it up, and it's the things that aren't his arms or legs. Then our next rumor is we have a Japanese Spider-Man. So I imagine this is the one with the giant Megazord summoning watch. Not a character I know a ton about. Jordan?
Summons Leopardon. This is from the 1970s TV show where Peter Parker, yeah, as you said, he does have a giant Megazord that he calls with his like Power Ranger style wristwatch. But he also is like, Peter Parker has like a motorcycle and kind of rides around and does some crazy stuff. This character kind of got new life because in the Spider-Verse comics, he was featured like pretty prominently. So that was kind of unique because most of the characters in Spider-Verse were comic variations of Spider-Man. So this was the first. I mean, they didn't use Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield in those comics, but they did use the 1970s Japanese just Spider-Man TV show. So I think there's been some renewed fan interest in this character. I don't know. I don't really have an attachment to the show. Didn't watch a lot of the 1970s Spider-Man show. It's one of those ones for me that's kind of like a fun novelty. It would be fun to, like, if I found him cheap or got a deal for him, it'd be kind of fun to just randomly have him, in your scene with his little wristwatch or whatever. But I haven't been counting down the days for this one to come out personally.
True. It would be fun to get yourself a Power Rangers Megazord to go along with him. I'm sure you can find
you
one
have
of
to
those.
wonder if I'm sure people will be, I don't know, either repurposing those older ones, or I don't see Hasbro putting out an actual
Little do you
Megazord
know,
for
Jordan.
Spider-Man, but
Little do you know, it's the next HasLab.
oh, is that on your secret list of leaks?
That would be on my list of
Toys
flopped.
I Don't Care About magazine?
Yeah, it'd be on the cover of Toys I Don't Care About magazine. Page 2 is flopped HasLab projects. So that one...
Go join the Rancor.
Join the Rancor and Cookie Monster. I gotta look up the Cookie Monster one, because I don't even really necessarily understand that reference. I just know that was a HasLab project at one point that didn't make it. But that one, the 1970s Japanese Spider-Man, is rumored to be a fan channel exclusive, so may not be one that you have to push aside to find your other characters, but also not one that you're probably going to be able to hunt down very well if it's only going to be sold through, I would guess, just Hasbro Pulse. I don't think they would really do a partner up with Disney or something like that, but yeah, so you've got that to look forward to if you're excited about the Japanese Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. And then that brings us into another leak. That is the comic Amazing Fantasy 15 Spider-Man. So Dakota, when I read that, I think of the Toy Biz. I believe this is the Sentinel Wave, where he's got kind of like the narrow eyes, maybe even the like black and red kind of classic color scheme, and then like the web wings. That's right where my mind goes to, which really, I don't know. I don't really think we've gotten a classic version of that really since the Toy Biz.
No. I
So,
agree.
again, you have to wonder, I mean, beyond just looking like that, is he going to come with other stuff? I don't know. Is he going to have the webs? Is he going to have... I mean, he'll probably have alternate hands, I imagine. But you almost, like, need... And that's where I kind of got, like, in the 90s, or late 90s, when they had, like, Web Attack Spider-Man, Firefighter Spider-Man, I don't know, Accountant Spider-Man, whatever versions you get of Spider-Man. You have a million versions. Like, you have to add something to say, buy this one.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what makes it compete? I don't know. That'll be interesting if we have. Because I think, didn't you tell me at one point, rumored, like, at least 10 versions of Spider-Man coming out this year or something?
It was much higher than that. I thought it was
maybe
like
more
in the
than
30s.
that, yeah. I don't think
Spider-Man
we'll get that
related characters. And I think that
Right,
includes
okay.
the retro wave that's out now, because technically that's a January release. So,
Right.
not necessarily Spider-Man's,
you
but
know
like
what? I have,
Shocker and Hammerhead included.
I have Amazing Fantasy number 15 right here. A little plaque. I'm holding it up.
Nice.
Yeah, 1962. So that's, yeah, he's got, I don't know. Yeah, I think it'd be cool if he at least had a web. Something.
Yeah, I think I imagine that they'd have to have the similar, like you said, the web wings, where he's got kind of like the web glider under his arms, because that's how the Toy Biz Sentinel Wave one came. And I mean, he had the articulated fingers. I would be shocked if this one had articulated fingers, but it'll probably come with the alternate hands. I'd be kind of surprised if it came with the webs. It seems like you either kind of get the web effects or more alternate accessory, like hands, heads, things like that. I guess you wouldn't necessarily need another head for this one. I guess the only downside for this one is he's got the narrow eyes, and we've got the retro Spider-Man that also has the narrow eyes. So I know you were saying last time it'd be cool to get kind of the bigger Todd McFarlane eyes, but
Mm-hmm.
This one is one that I imagine that I'm going to pick up. I guess it'll depend on when it's released and how it looks and the price point. But I had the Toy Biz Amazing Fantasy 15 Spider-Man, and I was a fan of that. And I really liked the web effects. I actually had pajamas as a kid with the Spider-Man web effects under the arms. So probably my coolest pair of pajamas.
I think I have those same PJs. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think we could fit in them anymore, but maybe we can find an adult version.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and then we're going to have to get the Amazing Fantasy 15 comic book to go with our figures.
Oh, of course. That just naturally.
Exactly.
I hear those are going for real cheap nowadays.
Right. So our next rumored figure coming out is going to be an animated series Spider-Man. So this is one that I guess we don't know which animated series this could be. I would imagine it's going to be the animated series from the rest of the retro wave is kind of based on. But then how is that going to differ from the retro Spider-Man that we already have? I think on another group of leaks, it says that it's going to be the 1970s animated one. So if we're getting a 1970s Megazord Spider-Man and a 1970s animated one, maybe that's the case. But this one's kind of hard to tell what it's going to be. Maybe it's just going to be a normal looking Spider-Man.
Maybe it'll be a deluxe one with multiple heads, bunch of hands. If somebody had that great idea, then they could make a deluxe. Yeah, I think it's going to be 90s style Spider-Man. I guess the question will be, do they go the Venom route, give him some cell shading, or are they going to just make it an updated version of the retro buck or a reissue?
Right.
Some part of me almost sees them making this one like just like a classic Spider-Man that you could use for kind of whatever display. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I really hope it's not a 1960s show. I don't know. Maybe I do. Well, no, I don't, because I want a new one. But I would definitely pass on the 1960s show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, the costume's not that great. It's like webs aren't filled in all the way. And somebody on their podcast had, I believe it was Dan, who they were kind of asking about the retro Spider-Man and like the secondary market on him. And they had said like, oh, don't go out and pay the crazy prices on him because they didn't say we're going to re-release another classic Spider-Man like that, but he kind of alluded to that, that they would be putting out another normal Spider-Man. So maybe this is that Spider-Man that he was kind of alluding to in that podcast or interview. So
yeah,
guess time will tell with that Spider-Man, but one that I think a lot of people have guessed is coming out, and according to this leak at least, we're slated for a retro carded classic lizard. And this one is also rumored to be a Walmart exclusive, which I know has a lot of people worried that they're not going to be able to get it because whenever you have just a single store exclusive, that can make it a lot harder to find for the collectors, and it's going to sell out a lot more and then be a lot higher on the secondary market. So I think my biggest question with this one is, are they going to be redoing the Build-A-Figure lizard that they have, or are they going to be keeping it more of the smaller side lizard? Because in the cartoon, he's more Spider-Man sized, so I could see them reusing a similar size as Venom, where he's bigger on the regular sized blister card, because they had mentioned that they're going to be putting out an oversized blister card this year. So if it was the Build-A-Figure, obviously it's going to be on the larger Kingpin size, but if it's Venom size, then it could be smaller. What are you thinking, Jordan?
I don't think Lizard is going to be the deluxe figure, personally. I think the Lizard Build-A-Figure, I don't really... I have it right here. I'm trying to sell it right now. So I don't care for it too much. Lizard in the comics, I mean, sometimes he's, depicted that way, like the more reptilian, but I have to imagine, obviously, he is reptilian. Almost more dinosaur like, though, in the
Mm-hmm.
Build a Figure. Kind of looks like a velociraptor. I have to imagine, they'll do a more classic comic, or not comic, kind of like the animated show. And in that show, he's big, but he's not like 2 times
Right.
as tall as Spider-Man. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it would look weird to make like a giant lizard on a big blister card. I think it'd make much more sense for that to be, as we've talked about before, I think, maybe a rhino. I'd sooner see them doing that than a lizard, just because lizard, even as the characters go, I don't immediately think giant, towering figure. So
Right.
I guess the one thing is you'll have to figure out how do they package his tail. I mean, is that going to be a separate like piece you clip on? Is it going to be like a scorpion bendy thing? Something tells me it's just going to be a piece of plastic, but kind of like the Build-A-Figure, will it be articulated? So I guess you could maybe justify a deluxe with
Yeah.
his tail.
And I guess
But that would feel
that's
kind of like a cheat to be like, oh, it's deluxe. Why? Well, we couldn't figure out how to package his tail. So it's like, oh, come on. So I
yeah.
don't know.
And I think with the hunchiness of the Build-A-Figure, putting that in a blister card, like I'm looking at my Kingpin Build-A-Figure now, or like it's the same figure as the Build-A-Figure, but it's on the retro card. There's no way you could get the hunch of the lizard packaged in that same package without like actually taking apart the Build-A-Figure and putting him in like that, because that lizard doesn't even stand all the way up and his back is rounded. So I'm going to go ahead and say that it's going to be a regular blister size card and Rhino is going to be the oversized. But, that's just us talking. Don't take it to the bank. If I was a betting man, though, I'd bet on us. All right, now we're going to get into similar releases, but slightly more specific. So I'll just run through these real quick. And if you want to stop me anywhere, Jordan, you can. Ones that we haven't talked about yet, or I guess kind of an adjustment of what we already have talked about. This other leak, again, not sure who's leaking it, so take it with a grain of salt. They have that Penny Parker is coming in a 2-pack, not with the SPDR Spider Robot, but with Spider-Man Noir. So that one may be a little bit more interesting to me because I do like the Spider-Man Noir character. Probably not enough to pick it up, but it also seems like to me it makes a lot more sense to have Penny Parker come with her robot and then have Spider-Man Noir be in that Spider-Verse wave that is also leaked to be coming out. So I guess that's more what I would imagine. So I would maybe not quite put all my eggs in this leak. The next one we have is a Spider-Woman and Silk. So similar to the Spinneret, not characters that I'm super well versed in, especially with Silk. Don't know her very well. Spider-Woman, I guess there's a few different costumes they could choose from. I would kind of imagine they would do the red and yellow. It's been a while since we've got that one. I know the black and white one isn't really selling very high in the secondary market. She's one that if you have her, you're just kind of stuck with her. And then the last leak from this group of leaks, which is the most exciting, I think, for most people, is a rumored Tobey Maguire Spider-Man that's going to be a Target exclusive. And that one seems to make sense because now that the movie's out, they can kind of start using some of those characters because they didn't probably announce, like they wouldn't want Hasbro to be making Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans for the release of the movie, because then the folks at Hasbro would kind of know the big reveal from the movie, and that's just more people to try to keep under wraps of kind of the big climax, or not necessarily the climax, but just like the big wow factor of the Spider-Man movie. So, anything you've got on that list there, Jordan?
I think did you skip? Isn't there a rumored future Foundation Spider-Man on there?
Oh yes, I did skip that.
Which we didn't talk about that one, but that one's just like another. It's kind of like a version of the Fantastic Four when it evolves into something else. Spider-Man joins. It's kind of like a black and white, almost grid like schematic suit thing. So yeah, that's 1, 2, 3. I mean, those are all Spider-Man related.
Right.
So, kind of like you said, that makes sense to me. I mean, I could believe all those. We haven't seen Silk. Oh, we have, but it's the harder to get one.
Mm-hmm.
And then Spider-Woman. I don't think we've seen I believe it's Jessica Drew is the red and gold or red and yellow Spider-Woman.
Was she in the? I mean, she was in the MODOK wave in Toy Biz, but was she also in the Absorbing Man wave? Possibly.
I don't think so. I feel like I would remember seeing a modern version, but I could be wrong. Yeah. I mean, that would either way, it would still make sense to get a new one. And then, of course, the Tobey Spider-Man. I'm excited for. I think makes complete sense for them to be reissuing him. It's not quite the 3-pack as we discussed. But who knows? Maybe they'll put out a single figure and then make even more money by putting out a 3-pack. So, all of these sound pretty I mean, there's nothing on here that I think is outlandish. I think you might be right about them saving Spider-Man Noir for, the release of the Spider-Verse sequel in December. But I could see them putting him out with Penny Parker as well. That, like you said, that might get more people to buy it since you're getting an actual other different character.
And then maybe the SPDR Spider Robot is going to be the Build-A-Figure, and they'll just do more of the movie version versus the
comic version
one that we have.
Or not, the cartoon. I could see that.
All right, so those are the leaks that Jordan knew about, and then today, Jay Cochran put out a article on Marvelous News, and then also I watched Boog Nice kind of give some leaks and possible rumored figures to be coming out. So those are ones Jordan don't know about. So maybe we'll get his live reaction, hear him freak out to what's coming. But I'll run through these a little quicker since we're getting long on time. But the first one we have is Firelord. I don't think this one's too much of a shock. Herald of Galactus. I think we can expect more Heralds of Galactus before the year is over. Probably even this summer we should be hopefully seeing more so that we have them in time for when Galactus arrives. Next up we have a Sentinel. So Boog Nice says Sentinel Prime. Jay Cochran says just a regular Sentinel, not necessarily like a Build-A-Figure. At least according to the Jay Cochran article, it's going to be just a normal sized figure, kind of like the additional tiers that came with the HasLab Sentinel. So I'm not sure how these will differ from those. I would almost be okay with just like a normal looking Sentinel, like the animated Sentinel, but on a smaller version as like an army builder.
Yeah.
The price for that Sentinel is set to be the $24.99, like the regular prices now that like the Multiverse of Madness wave is. So we'll see what that one looks like when it's released. We've also got a Retro War Machine coming down the rumor mill, which I'm a little surprised by that one because we just got that deluxe War Machine not too long ago. And how are you going to improve on that? Don't know.
There's
we'll
the
see.
Armor Wars show coming up though.
Mm,
Don Cheadle's War Machine is getting his own movie or Disney Plus show, so they might be trying to capitalize on that.
okay.
That's the only reason I could think of.
I think this is supposed to be on the retro card. So yeah, I guess maybe just a little more love for War
I
Machine.
think I don't. Yeah, maybe just to, I don't know. I mean, yeah, like you said, I don't really know what they do different because the deluxe kind of already has that classic look to them. So
yeah, and I think in this article he had mentioned maybe it would just be a repaint of the modular Iron Man, which I guess I could see because they've done that before where they've given, like, especially Toy Biz, I think did that with the Face Off, where it was essentially the same figure with just maybe a different head sculpt if there was a head sculpt, and then repainted the Iron Man suit to be War Machine. And then even early Hasbro with the Ultimate War Machine and the Ultimate Iron Man, it was the same figure, just different paint. So that could be possible. Yeah, so we'll see. Then the next one on the list is Scorpion. So I don't think this one was said whether it was a retro card or not. I would expect this one to be a retro card though, because we do have the Molten Man wave Scorpion. So hopefully this one's a little more in that animated style, with the kind of like that half mask, kind of like we got the old Spider-Man Classics lizard, or not lizard, but Scorpion. I mean, that one to me is probably the go-to Scorpion right now. And then this one I think is going to surprise you, Jordan. We've got another Captain America rumored to be coming out this year.
What?
Yep.
Why?
I agree. So this article speculates maybe it'll be like a Bucky cap. But
see that, I guess.
I agree with your surprise because, I mean, we just had the retro. We've had the 80th. Now we're getting the 20th anniversary coming out this year. And based off that one, I don't know how you're going to really improve much. So it does seem like it would have to be like a Bucky cap, or maybe it'll be like an original like World War II cap with the like a comic version with that old shield. Yeah. And then if that comes out, then I would hope that the World War II Bucky is not too far behind. So I guess we'll see there. Because that would be cool. Then next up, we've got I guess, according to Boog, the Venom and Knoll 2-pack may not be Venom. It may be one of Knoll's demons. So I would kind of lean more towards that's going to be more Venom, or at least I guess I would hope. And then it would be cool, like, because I mean, I imagine if it's like one of just kind of the regular symbiotes that Knoll controls, that'd be cooler. It's like an army builder instead of having it just a part of a 2-pack. Then we've got Blue Marvel. So this I think is from the one of the Ultimates teams with Captain Marvel and Black Panther. We've never had a Blue Marvel in the Marvel Legends line, so this could be pretty cool. There's a few different costumes you could use for him. This would probably be one that I would be excited to pick up. I guess we'll see how it looks, but one that would definitely be of interest to me. And then also there was a leak of getting another first time ever Avenger. I'm not sure if that applies to Blue Marvel or if that's somebody else completely, but there's so many Avengers that could be a lot of people. Yeah, we'll see. I could see, I guess I would imagine we've got to be getting a Star Fox coming soon. Now that he's in the MCU, so I could see us getting a comic book version of him on the retro card because they've been doing a lot of those West Coast Avenger type characters. So we'll see about that. And then Boog's last rumor was we should be getting a updated Mojo. So this one, I don't know how they would do an updated Mojo because unless they're going to make Mojo significantly smaller than the Toy Biz Build-A-Figure, which I don't know. I guess Mojo doesn't have to be as big as that Build-A-Figure. I mean, my main knowledge of Mojo comes from the cartoons. But if that's true, then I would also expect we'd be getting a long shot shortly after, and then a spiral. And I know a lot of people are always hunting down that spiral because it's one of the more rare figures. Came out with the Red Hulk Build-A-Figure wave. So that would be a cool update, especially seeing Hasbro be able to do a 6-arm character better than they did with the Doppelganger and the 6-arm Spider-Man. Because then maybe down the road that leads to the Man Spider. Let's see. So then...
Oh, there you go.
Pique your interest.
That's right.
Then getting back more into the Jay Cochran article, he also is leaking or rumoring that we're going to be getting a new Blue Beast and a new Apocalypse. So I would imagine that Blue Beast would be in that cel-shaded X-Men line. Similar, same with Apocalypse. Yeah. I would think that the Apocalypse would be more of that blue and purple from the cartoon. Hopefully they give us some interchangeable arms, because in the show he's got like battering ram arm and like more of a blaster. And then the Build-A-Figure only came with the claw. So... But then he also has some of the prices leaked. So the Blue Beast and Apocalypse are rumored to be in the same price range as the Hulk, the 20th anniversary Marvel Legends Hulk that they're putting out now. So it's more on the, like, what was that, $43 or something like that?
Yeah.
So a little high for Beast, at least. I mean, I could see that with Apocalypse because... as a Build-A-Figure, he's going to be bigger. But then what are we getting with Beast that makes him that? I guess Beast is a bigger character, so maybe they're going to make him more Build-A-Figure sized. I would hope if he's going to be on that higher price range, we get maybe some more accessories like the trench coat or like the lab coat, some glasses or alternate heads, where you don't just have a Blue Beast that's screaming angry. You've got kind of, like you've said, that more thoughtful reading philosophy. Maybe he comes with a book, some beakers for his lab, something like that. I'm just trying to think of what would actually make that price reasonable. And then, like I said, the Captain America, War Machine, and Scorpion, those are all going to be priced at the 20th anniversary Iron Man and Captain America price. So $31.99, higher than a regular figure. So what are they coming with that makes them worth that, especially if that War Machine is on a retro card, that Scorpion is on a retro card, hopefully, but also maybe not hopefully, because that price is higher, and I'm hoping that the retro cards don't jump up to $31.99. And then Firelord and the Sentinel are rumored to be around the $24.99, the new price range. So who knows? Anything jump out there at you, Jordan?
I don't know. I mean, I think that makes sense. I mean, I reacted to Captain America, but naturally that's smart for them because he's kind of like a Spider-Man character that just sells, you know?
Right.
So
True.
you might as well put more of them out. And all the other ones, I mean, the one that doesn't make sense to me is, I agree, War Machine. But I think Scorpion and Mojo for sure. I think I saw that rumor, so that makes sense to me. I just wonder what they'll do with that War Machine and why. I guess you have to wonder how substantiated the pricing stuff is, because that kind of affects how we consider. I mean, the one that also would confuse me is
and I hope that
how expensive that Beast would be.
Apocalypse is similar to the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure in size, because that Build-A-Figure looks cool, but the Build-A-Figure also doesn't look $150 cool. So, and that's usually what he's going for around now. Maybe a little bit less, but still not one that I'm going to crack open my piggy bank to get in hand. So we'll see. I think out of that list, the one I'm most excited for is Firelord to go with our Galactus. And even if we don't end up keeping Galactus, I still have always thought Firelord was a pretty cool character. And then, definitely be getting Scorpion to go with the retros if he's kind of in that animated series line. And if Blue Beast and Apocalypse are both in the VHS style boxes, can't stop now, so I'll have to get those as well. So
right on.
All right, we're gonna be getting lots of Spider-Man, maybe some X-Men and Avengers. Time will tell. I think we're recording this on the 12th. The 20th we should have another reveal or something official put out by Hasbro, so maybe that'll be something on this list. Maybe it'll be something completely different. I know I've heard hope that it's going to be a retro carded Luke Cage, because we haven't gotten him in his classic comic book outfit. So, and I think with it being Black History Month, that makes sense. So either that or maybe Blue Marvel.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Not too much longer. And I mean, we should also have a fan first event coming up soon. It seems like it's been quite a while since we've heard from the Hasbro team about Marvel Legends. So, if you want to see any of our recent acquisitions from our What You Got segment, you can find photos of those on our Instagram. We've also put some of our displays up in the stories, so you can check those out. You can find that at Strong Collectors on Instagram. Tag us in your recent acquisitions. Let us know what you got. Let us know if there's any podcasts that you want us to do specifically, if you've got ideas on what we could talk about. If you hear of any leaks that we didn't mention, let us know, because we love a good rumor of what's to come. And then, until next time, stay strong.